guard and Michael Carroll right tackle. Curious about especially Wilkin kind of cross-training at guard and tackle, what you've seen out of him over the last few weeks to make that happen.
Yeah, Wilkin obviously has the athleticism to play inside and the size. So I think there's a couple things that happen for Wilkin in there. He is natural pad level because he's got his hand in the dirt, and he's got a good base and wide frame. So he's really done a nice job in there. So we're going to keep working on that and expand. As long as he can stay right-handed, play on the right side, I think that the transition for him is easy.
Jump to the right side, Nick.
Yeah, the Caden Proctor play calls. That an Iowa guy give another Iowa guy an opportunity?
Yeah.
Or what went into that decision there?
Well, I mean, KP, first of all, any play like that, the only way I do stuff like that is if it's guys that I trust. And obviously Jeremy Bernard, KP are guys that are trustworthy, and they know if they trick off the rep in practice or, they're not good with the football and they're not secure, then we just won't do it. So KP took it very seriously. He knew he had the ball on the outside arm, knew how to protect it. I think he's a super athletic guy. I mean, it was just fun. I wish he could have scored, but, the guys are excited to block for him. I knew he'd have a chance to run over, one or two or three people. And down there tight in the red zone, those are tough yards to get. I thought honestly, it was a huge play. It was, I think we're on the 13, and so, you're first and 10 on the 13-yard line. You get a first down right there, and now you're first and goal on the 2. Those are tough yards down there. So I thought it was a good opportunity, not necessarily something they probably saw was coming.
Jumping back to the left side, Chase.
All offensive line questions so far.
Good.
So we're seeing you guys rotate on the offensive line. Conventional wisdom is just roll with 5 for cohesiveness sake. And y'all seem to not only be rotating, but the rotation seems to be expanding instead of contracting toward the conventional 5. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, we're just still not where we want to be yet. It's really that simple. And so I know the gel part, but we also have guys that wear down a little bit. So we're trying to keep guys as fresh as possible and at the same time find the best 5. And so for us, I think there's a little bit too. You don't know what you got until you get some of those young guys in the game. Michael Carroll's got to play. Will's got to play, and we don't know how good they are or what they can do till they get in the football game. So we've been kind of falling back on that a little bit and seeing, that challenge, that competition, see if that can spur in a little bit more production.
Let's go to Katie, second row on the left.
One of the things y'all told us back in camp, why Ty won the job, is how well he done protecting the football through 4 games. He doesn't have a turnover. Just what have you seen from him in that area? And what's kind of the balance for the quarterback if you wanted to be aggressive and make plays, but also be smart with the ball?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's a really, really tiny sliver in great quarterback play and understanding like when to be aggressive with the football, when to take care of the ball, and that's the whole thing. And that's what Ty's still working on. I think he's doing a really good job. And you'd rather work a guy back from that and have him make the aggressive throws and teach him those reads versus a guy that turns the ball over. So I know Ty has that aggression in him and has the ability to make those throws. So I just think he's operating at a really high level. He had one play. I thought the boot, obviously, early on the first drive back to his right was by far, Ty would tell you the same thing. It was the worst play he had all night. And, luckily it didn't get in their hands. But, for him, I thought that actually, dialed him in for the rest of the game. He's like, okay, I know what I got to do. And he made all those plays. He made all the reads that he needed to and didn't put the ball in jeopardy.
Go to Alex, back row on the right.
A little bit of a 2-part question. What do you think of Jam coming back? And then also, how do you get more explosive runs out of that running game that's consistently getting you 2 and 3 yards, but how do you get more out of that group?
Yeah, first of all, with Jam, his presence just at practice and, maturity, just – the work ethic that he brings was a huge part of the preparation part for the week, which is the most important part. And, on game day, obviously, when he's back there, he had a couple pressure pickups in the backfield where he was just so solid and knew exactly what the check was going to be. And I thought overall we did a really good job protecting Ty, and Jam's a huge part of that. So, obviously, clutch play at the end, but then running the ball, I just thought – he did a good job, dimpling for 4 or 5 yards at a time, when there wasn't huge creases in there, and we just got to do a better job finding ways to get him more of those one-on-one, matchups where the ball's on the corner, ball's on a safety. I think we got 4 of those in the game, you're looking to try to get 8 to 9 of those a game where you can get the football on a secondary player so that they can break a tackle and get into the open. And that's really it. We got to get through and get 6-on-6 on the inside somehow with our big bodies, and then find a way to get jam on those DBs.
Let's go to Ryan, front and left.
Hey, Coach, I'm going to stick with the offensive line theme. It looks like Georgia was doing a lot of twisting, and the communication was pretty solid Saturday.
Yeah.
What'd you see?
Yeah, just that. And I think that was a huge part of a big emphasis. They do a good job, very creative scheme at Georgia. And so we knew that was going to be a huge challenge up front, is being able to communicate, especially not just the pressures, but the twists, as you mentioned, up front. And I didn't feel like even in the run game, I think we had three negative yardage runs or 0 gains. So, we weren't getting hit in the backfield, both throwing the football and running. And it always starts with the communication piece. And I thought, not necessarily the first part of the preparation, the first week, but I thought, like, as the week went this last week, I thought they really dialed it in and did a good job. And, it all starts with Parker. And he does such a phenomenal job of that.
Let's go to Joe. Sorry, middle, left.
Coach, sticking with the same theme of running the football, you used a lot of screens and misdirections and kind of rollouts. Can you talk about using those and getting creative to kind of extend the running game, finding other ways to get your guys the ball in space?
Yeah, as always, I don't think it's anything earth-shattering, but you get the defense having to run to the football, stress them out, get them moving to the sideline a little bit, and then you try to get vertical on them. And I thought we did a good job of stretching them and moving them around. And to Georgia's credit, they did their integrity on the inside remained the same. On some defenses, they'll compromise, and they held up pretty strong in the second half on that.
Right behind there, Travion.
Can you talk about, from an offensive line standpoint, not giving up any pressure, sacks, or anything like that? Can you just talk about what that does for the confidence of the group moving forward as Alabama moves forward in the SEC play?
Yeah, that's you said it well. Confidence. When they execute against a defense like Georgia, to all the different pressures and stunts and looks that they got, because I thought Georgia kind of emptied the clip a little bit as far as like looks and pressures and things that they did, and the guys responded. We drug up everything. We were pulling out clips from 2022 Ohio State game, and anything that we thought we could possibly see, we put out there at practice, and the guys are ready. And so I think moving forward, they know they can make the adjustments on the sideline, which is probably as important as anything, because there's going to be a look that we haven't practiced, and they did a really nice job of that.
All right, we'll finish up with Will, second row on the left.
Coach, I'm sorry to disappoint. It's not an offensive line question, but I wanted to get your thoughts on that breakaway play that Latsier made at the end of the first half, a situation where at first it looked like he could have been dead to rights behind the sticks in the middle of the field, instead gets 20-plus yards and gets out of bounds, helps keep that drive going in the way that he did.
Yeah, those are the kind of plays you got to have in a big game, obviously. You want to get the touches to the right guys, and Latsier is a guy that, is a missed tackle force machine, and that's one of the things we look at every week are who are the guys getting touches, who are the guys breaking tackles, because when it's not perfect, which it wasn't on that play, you need a guy that's going to somehow make the play for you, and Lottie is, since the day I've seen him running around out here, he's definitely got a knack to do that. So he's got good ball security. He plays through contact. He does not expect to be tackled. He's more powerful than people, anticipate, and he's just a really, really sudden guy. So he did a great job. Had a great game. Made some really good special teams plays too.
Thank you, Coach.
You bet. Have a good day.
I really wish you guys were there.
Coach might make his opening statement, then we'll go ahead and take quick questions. Coach, whatever you think.
Okay, looking back on the game on Saturday, certainly proud of the effort of our players, a sense of urgency to lock your jaw and handle adversity. I thought we did that well. We faced some early adversity in the game, a couple explosive plays that we gave up, and I thought our players just stayed very locked in. Our sideline was fantastic in terms of the just how locked in our players were. The communication between players and coaches is what a sideline should look like, and I thought we took steps in the right direction there. We said we wanted to handle their perimeter game. That was something that they had done a really good job of. I think, we talked them in and out of a lot of different things off the perimeter, just with pre-snap alignments. So for the most part, we did a pretty good job there. But one of the things that we had to say, what we talked about as a key to victory was when the ball declares, we've got to take the air out of the ball. And I thought on the interior run fits, for the most part, we did that. But the ball rolled off the edge and created, 6 explosive plays for 171 yards. Outside of that, we had 26 rushes for 55 yards. So they averaged 2.1 yards per carry in those 26 plays. But those 6 rushes that the ball got outside on us and we didn't take the air out of the ball and gave really good athletes space to make a play, we didn't finish. And that is unacceptable, and we got to get those things fixed. In the SEC, you have to answer for the things that you put on tape, and we certainly are going to have to answer for those things. And then our last key to victory was we had to get the ball back for our offense, and certainly, tremendous job with our offense and the way they're moving the ball and what Ty is doing right now with the ball and executing. And so we got to get the ball back for them. And so we were able to do that predominantly on third downs. We were able to create a fourth down stop, and we were also able to create a takeaway where we got the ball down in the red zone. So some really good things in that regard. This is a very, very tough league that you have to show up for every single week. We have a tremendous opponent in Vanderbilt. The things that you put on tape, you're going to have to go answer for as the season goes on. And there's been some good things we've put on tape, but there's been some things that we're going to have to go respond to, and things that we're going to have to show we do a better job. We let a fake reverse the other night affect us. That was something that we had worked extensively in practice and had 2 guys that didn't do the right thing. And so those are the things that we've got to show that we're more consistent in the way that we take our practice to execution on game day. So looking ahead to Vanderbilt, I think this is a fantastic football team. I think they're playing highly efficient right now on offense. I think they have a great identity in terms of how they play team football. Diego Pavia is an exceptional football player. I think he has gone from being a really good playmaker to an elite quarterback. And I think, until you turn on the tape, you don't realize how much improvement you have seen from him from last year to this year. And it's really exceptional. I mean, the work that he's put in, the work their coaching staff has put in to make him an elite quarterback relevant to the SEC stage is impressive. He's completing almost 75% of his passes. They've created 53 explosive plays on offense through 5 games, which is exceptional. And he's also their leading rusher. They've got some dynamic threats. Their receivers are going up and making plays on the ball. Their tight end is very dynamic, Eli Stowers, who's their leading receiver right now. And so just highly efficient on offense and the way they're operating. They've got a ton of confidence, and this will be a tremendous challenge for us defensively. So we're excited for the opportunity and ready for the week of work.
Thanks, Coach. Let's start with Charlie, far right.
Yeah, Coach, just what do you think of the way that Yanze Pierre and Justin Hill played at the Wolf on Saturday, and how big is that depth going to be with both Quay and Jamarian Al?
Well, I think, very proud of Yanze Pierre and Justin Hill. I mean, it's a lot to ask for a true freshman to come in and compete, especially in a road SEC game where, he had been getting a lot of reps in practice, but certainly we didn't anticipate him playing, whatever it was, 23, 24 snaps in the game. And he did a really good job there of going in, was very physical at the point of attack, made some huge block destruction plays on their tight ends, who I think Georgia has a very good receiving or tight end core. And so pleased with him, pleased with Yanze Pierre. Yanze is, I've talked about him in the offseason. He just keeps getting better and better. His ability to affect the run game, to generate some pass rush for us has shown up so far this season. But we're going to have to be creative in the way that we develop other people in certain packages to make sure that that we have enough depth, and that's really the name of the game, right, is how do you each week handle your personnel to be able to create as much depth as you can for the next week's opponent. And certainly when you lose 2 experienced players like we did, that's a challenge.
Let's go to Chase on the left side.
Last year when Vanderbilt had running success in Nashville, you said a big reason was eye discipline, players on the front just not looking at the right things.
Yeah.
Given that, is that eye discipline a big emphasis in practice this week?
Well, it is, but it hasn't stopped being a point of emphasis all last season. I thought we improved last season as the year went on in terms of our eye discipline, particularly in the quarterback read game, right? So when you look at option style football, right, there's a sequence of reads that go on from the quarterback position that he's looking from this position to that position, and if your eyes and feet aren't in the right place, right, now all of a sudden the rest of the play breaks down. And so that's something that I think we have improved in certain areas, but you look at the game last year, you look at some of the things that we had some issues with that. Really more, it was less eye discipline against Florida State. It was more gap continuity, guys jumping out of gap at the last second, thinking that the ball's going to commit outside, and all of a sudden we jump out and the ball goes inside. So it was probably more gap continuity against Florida State than it was eye discipline. But that will be a huge emphasis for us in terms of what, we've got to do. If you go look back at last season, even given the explosive plays that we gave up some in the run game, we gave up 3 yards per carry overall. Which obviously, if you do that through the season, right, that's good rushing defense. But we cannot allow, 4, 5, 6 explosive plays to dictate how the rushing game went, which is exactly what happened in Georgia the other night. If you look at those 6 explosive plays that we gave up.
Let's go to Nick, front right.
Yeah, 2 if I can. First off, Ty made sure to come find you right after the game. Kind of walk us through, what that moment was like and also your relationship there. And then also this Vanderbilt offense, a lot of the same players, Cheryl, Stowers, Pavia, they gave you guys trouble a year ago, are back again. How much does that familiarity help in defending that?
Yeah. I've known Ty, since he was, 6 years old. And so certainly, this is a team that I think is playing with an edge right now. I think Ty is a huge piece to us playing with an edge. I think defensively we're playing with more of an edge. And so when you go do the things and put the things on tape against Florida State and then have to go answer the bell like we have the last few weeks, and then get a road win on the SEC. It was a good moment, special moment between him and I. And he's a fighter and a leader for our football team, and one that I just wanted to let him know that I recognize and appreciate all the work that he's put in to give us a chance to go respond and win on the road. And so that part was those are good. Those are special moments, and you appreciate those things. You know, from when you look at this team, yeah, you've got a lot of similar players to what we saw a year ago. I think they have evolved. I think we have evolved significantly from where we were. Fundamentally, schematically, we're different from where we were at the beginning of last season, because I think good teams adjust to their personnel. And I think we have adjusted to our personnel and what we have defensively. They have done a great job of adjusting to their personnel and developing their personnel. They are a very different offense than what we saw from them a year ago, because of the things that Diego is doing in the passing game in particular. And so it's impressive how much he has improved as an overall quarterback.
Let's go to Alex, back middle.
Edric Hill got a little bit more, probably a little more run than expected with James going out. What did you see from his game, and how's he come along?
You know, Edric played physical. He played hard in the game, which I think has been a marker of all of our guys. You know, we played timid and on our heels in week one, and I think we have, to this point, we have identified that and kind of rectified that a little bit in terms of the effort that we're playing with. But particularly when you're an interior D lineman, it's natural when the ball's on the perimeter or thrown downfield not to naturally burst to the ball, and I think Edric's doing a really good job with that, along with a bunch of our interior defensive linemen. You know, some of that youthful interior D line is critical. I mean, you know, gosh, it was an area of concern going into the season, right? That we had, you know, youthful players that were on the interior that were going to have to step up for us. But then all of a sudden, you know, you lose Tim Keenan, and then Jeremiah Beeman goes down, which, you know, makes for a very difficult situation. And I think those guys have really done a good job of straining in the week of practice to prepare themselves to give an opportunity on game day. And I think, you know, Edric played well the other night.
Let's go to the front left column.
Hey, Ken, who would you say has improved the most as a pass rusher over the past few weeks, and kind of what, I guess, schematically or at the line of scrimmage specifically, I guess, gives reason to the improvement?
Yeah. I think, you know, Jan Pierre has consistently gotten better as a pass rusher, and that's one area that we need, where I'm excited about, you know, some of the things that he gives us from a pass rush standpoint. I think LT Overton, from where he was a year ago in generating, you know, quarterback hurries to being able to finish in the backfield, not only on the quarterback, but he's also finished in the backfield on a number of run plays as well. And so those are areas that I think that we are improving as a defense. I've got to continue to find creative ways to generate pass rush. I thought we were able to do that at a much higher level the last few weeks, and certainly last week against Georgia, we were able to affect the quarterback and thus get off the field on third down. And so, you know, those are going to be critical things for us moving forward.
Let's go to Katie in the second row.
You know, the other guy that I'll tell you is Deontay Lawson is doing a really good job as a pass rusher. We're doing some things with him that we did with Jahad Campbell a year ago, and he's generating some pass rush. So give D-Law a little love there.
Similar to Nick's question, with some of the personnel being the same for y'all on defense and them on offense, is there kind of a pride factor or revenge factor with the defense after what happened last year that, or is that something you don't want them to focus on?
Well, I think if you have pride in the way you play defensively, this is a very, very good SEC opponent. And certainly I think you're always going to be aware of what a team did last year against you and how that matches up. They're a new offense. They're a new football team, and we're a new defense. We're a different defense. There's going to be certain carryover. I would imagine, you know, we took a punch on the road in week one, and I think that we've got an edge to our football team right now in the way that we're preparing and the way we're playing. My job as the coordinator is to keep us on that edge as a defense, and I think that's the way that we're going to play on Saturday.
All right, let's finish up with Travion, far back.
Alabama played 44 players on offense and defense, 44 freshman players. Can you just talk about the trust that you're able to have in those players as they step up in those moments and fill in, through, whether it be injury or just fill in general?
Yeah, you just mean, yeah, we're playing a number of players from a defensive standpoint. You know, some of that, right, you know, are situations where, you know, barring injury, a guy has to step up in his role, and that's something that, you know, credit to our coaching staff for getting some younger players ready to go play in those moments. You know, I think we do have a number of players. There's not a guy on our defense that's playing perfect right now. Everybody is making mistakes. Everybody has things that they need to fix and improve upon. But I told our guys, good teams improve, and that can be for older players like Tim Keenan and Deontay Lawson. That can be for younger players like Justin Hill that just had more snaps than he probably anticipated playing in Athens. But good teams improve, and if we will have a sense of urgency to improve, and you show those things in the week of practice, you get to participate on game day. And I think that we've got a number of younger players that are doing that. Some guys on our two deep that belong on the field and have earned reps for game day. But to me, this will all come down to, as we navigate through SEC play, who improves the things that you put on tape from week 1, 2, 3, 4, and whatever this is right now, 5 for us, but 6 overall, versus the teams that don't improve and fix the things that they need to. And so I think we're taking steps in the right direction right now, but that will be the key to success.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys. Roll Tide.
All right, we'll have Coach DeBoer make an opening statement, and we'll go ahead and take questions. If you have questions, just stick your hand up, we'll get to you. Whenever you're ready, Coach.
You bet. Good morning, and just a couple things about Georgia. Just a good win for our team. I feel that's really what it was. It was a team win, both sides of the ball, and special teams as well, all being involved in how we got it done. And wasn't perfect by any means, and sometimes you know, a lot of times in those type of games, it's going to be ugly at times, and so it's just a matter of continue to play hard, be resilient. That our coaching staff did a really nice job of putting a plan together, and our guys really buying into that, and you know, bye week and just staying the course and staying focused, and you know, the build up to the game not being so much on the front end, but really emotionally and mentally getting prepared for the right time, late kickoff on a Saturday night, and just a great environment there. And I think our guys rose to the occasion. I appreciate, you know, how they handled all the adversity that came their way. So they left it on the field. That's what I ask of them. Ask them to empty the tank, and they certainly did that. So they played for each other. I think that's been one of the themes that they've really focused on, and everyone's counting on them to do their job, and if they don't do their job, they're letting their teammates down. And I've actually asked them, to really understand that piece as far as that I'm counting on them, and I understand they're counting on me too. And so a lot of young guys continue to get more and more experience, both sides of the ball, playing a number of true freshmen, and their experience is, I think, from week 1 to now through 4 games, really showing up, and we're going to continue to need those guys, and some redshirt freshmen as well that playing a lot of, really important towards our success. So appreciate the fans that went over there to Athens and supported us, and obviously coming back home to Bryant-Denny, a place that it's just a great vibe, and we're going to need everything they got against a very good Vanderbilt team here coming up on Saturday. So Coach Lee, a ton of respect for him. I've known him for a long time. I knew a year ago you could see and feel the positive movement that they had inside the program. You could see the style of play, it being team football. And they continue to do that. So 5-0, ranked opponent coming into our house. So just got to continue to keep the focus on us. Keep ignoring the noise. That's been a huge, I think, strength that's become of our football team, and they got to continue to do that. Some guys, continue to learn, what it takes to come each and every week to play football here in the SEC.
Thanks, Coach. Let's start with Chase on the far left.
Yeah, there's a perception that the win over Georgia last year created some overconfidence, and it resulted in the team not taking Vanderbilt seriously enough just 7 days later. Is that fair? And if not, how do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue against that. You got to handle success, and you got to come back every single week in this league. And I've talked to, every coach I talk to at midfield, that's what the conversation's about. Is here you go again, and you got to reload mentally, physically, emotionally to during the week, get prepared at the highest level you possibly can, and go play ball. Physically, it's going to be a battle, and mentally, you got to be ready to respond. And so, we didn't handle success, however you want to put it, last year well. You can't argue that. I also think that they did a nice job executing in critical times and made plays. And so, no different this week, right? We and our success that we had on Saturday, none of it matters. None of it carries over. The third down stops, the third down execution on offense, it doesn't matter. Points don't carry over. Every game's its own game. There's new matchups that are going to be presented in this game that were different than last week. And so, just like I talk about every play being its own play, this game is its own game.
To the right side, Charlie.
Yeah, Coach, after the game on Saturday, you talked about how you got to continue to get better in the run game. Just what does that look like? How do you accomplish that?
Yeah, I think, I feel like it is taking steps, and I think it's on both sides of the ball, just better execution. Guys understanding the job, but just keep executing. And I think there were some times where we were closer, but you didn't see it necessarily lead to these eye-popping numbers or these explosive plays. But I think there were times when, especially at the end of the game, third quarter were 4 and 5 yard runs, and at the end of the game, the last drive on first down, getting 7 yards when you know that's what's going to happen, it's going to be a run play, and then getting a first down and then doing it again and getting 5 on the next set of downs. Those are important and hard yards, and so. The execution just from the beginning, we want to continue to keep better. It starts with a mindset that's what it's going to take every single week. And so just to practice. Reps is what it's all about.
Let's go to Katie on the left.
Sorry, I just got distracted because I was writing something down. What do you think you haven't turned it over through the first 4 games, just what do you think has led to the success in ball security, just overall on offense?
Being intentional. Repetitions in ball security circuit that we do every single day. Showing our players. We showed clips during the bye week of other teams losing games and moments where, just a little bit of the elbow not being tight enough to the rib cage, or even a player having it high and tight, but it just not being tight enough, locking the wrist, and technically doing the things just on such a high level all the time, and being real truthful and showing times in practice or showing times in games, where there's a time or two where those fundamental things aren't done perfect. So it's being intentional. It's being intentional on running to the ball defensively to cause those turnovers too. And so it's effort, it's fundamental, and I think our guys are really understanding that you win and lose games because of those things. And it's one of those things that was one of our 3 keys to victory was winning the turnover margin. We did that.
Let's go to Nick on the front right.
Yeah, you also won the penalty battle, if you will, and that you had fewer penalties. What can be carried over from that performance in minimizing penalties moving forward?
Yeah, and to do it on the road in that environment, just proud of the guys, the way they continue to just stay the course. And I know they got it in them. I know that the want to is there. And so not living in the gray area, that's been a common theme for us going back to February when we really broke all the ways that things you needed to do to win. And when we worked on the category of penalties, focusing on where we fell short a year ago, focused on other teams and NFL teams, college teams, just making sure we covered all the scenarios. And it's, you're never going to cover all of them. New ones pop up all the time. And so just doing your best to really make sure the guys understand that you can't relax for one moment. You get on the boundary, you get on the sideline. You got to be smart. You got to figure out can I hit him or not? On the quarterback. Just locked in on the cadence, and when there's noise, like we had on Saturday, guys did a nice job just focusing on what we repped and locked in on doing their job.
Go to Emily Grace, front left.
Hey, Coach, can we get an update on Quay and Jamarian?
Yeah, Quay. So Quay, he has a broken foot and surgery and everything, and so he won't be out for the season, but he'll be an extended amount of time here. And then Jamarian, just with everything, he'll be out for the season, and so that's unfortunate. Just love both of those guys, but Zebo, as we refer to him, Jamarian's just. He's going to have a healthy recovery. He'll recover fully, and so that's the main thing in the big picture of everything. But unfortunately, we won't have him back this season.
Colin on the front left.
Hey, Kalen. It seems like Ryan Williams over the course of the last few games, whether it's with drop passes or got a little flack about blocking ability against Georgia, has gotten some criticism. I'm curious about what you've seen from him, how he's handled that criticism, while also what your message to him has been over the course of the last few games to kind of overcome.
Yeah. I mean, he knows he's just got to keep progressing, keep developing, keep working. And so what I know I see on the football field in practice every single day is a guy that is working hard at it. And so we know how skilled he is, how big of a threat he is anytime he's on the field. I thought he responded well. Had some nice catches and third down conversions. Had a ball late in the half there that was an explosive that helped us cross midfield and put points on the board. So I thought his response was really good, and he stayed focused. And I think really what he's locked in on is the team. And again, he's not going to be perfect, just like any other guy. And we expect a lot out of him, and we've built that up for him, and he certainly wants that, but he's just got to keep taking the steps, keep getting better, and he will. He just keep working through it. But his desire to go out there and be a team player, block. I mean, it's the want to factors there. So just got to keep working on the fundamental things, and he'll do it.
Joe, third row on the left.
Coach, how do you think that Tim Keenan played in his return? And secondly, Vanderbilt has a lot of graduates, a lot of redshirt seniors, juniors on their offensive line. Florida State did as well. What do you think you can take from from the Florida State experience with the young defensive lineman, you're going to be missing James for the first half of the game into this weekend's game?
Yeah, that's something we'll talk more and more about with the team as we go through the week, starting tomorrow with James. Because we do have to cover for him early. And when he comes in, he needs to be locked in on what's been happening, so it isn't him feeling out the process when he gets into the game. But Tim, just as the week went on, I think early in the week he was a little sore and things like that. But when he got to game day, just really, I thought he played well. He was an important part of our success, and just a big hammer up in there, just holding down gaps and keeping the movement to be very minimal. So he played, in our grading, he played a nice game all around. And so I don't know if I had a true number of snaps I was expecting to play, but I know he didn't play less than what I thought. If anything, he played more. And so we certainly do need to rise to the occasion, as your second question. Just we got to rise to the occasion and keep asking more out of our young guys against a veteran group, like you said. And I think we're doing that. I think guys are straining in practice. I've been on the young guys as much as anything, not just at that position, but across the board, for them to understand, the urgency that they got to have just in meetings and on the field, the strain that it takes. And then now they're seeing, I think you get into game day in these big games, the SEC games, and, they're getting it. They're figuring it out.
Let's go to Jamie on the front row.
Hey, Coach, the scene is set just like last year after Georgia. You've got Vandy. How do you guard against an emotional letdown this season after such a huge win in Athens? And also, are you going to be wearing a black hoodie on Saturday?
I think that part's, I think we all know that you don't win because of that and you don't lose because of that, but I get it. I think, for us, you got to learn from what you've been through, right? And so the handling of success last year and then what had happened for the different reasons it happened, and then where we're at now and the opportunity that we have in front of us and what we've gone through, you take your past experiences and you have to just keep learning, and you got to keep understanding how we got our feet somewhat underneath of us, okay, and have a little bit of momentum. Okay, and it's just really, again, being intentional. I've referred to that in different ways here. Moving with purpose, that's a common theme right now. And just the energy and the edge that our guys have played with the last 3 games, we cannot lose sight of how important that's been. And we know every team that comes into our place, every team we play, is getting amped up and excited to play Alabama, and we've got to take on that challenge, not just on Saturdays, but Sunday through Friday, and be ready to go.
Back right, Jonathan.
Hey, Coach, the response to the adversity your team faced on Saturday just appeared to be night and day compared to some of the recent road games. What do you think the biggest difference was?
Having gone through it and just continuing to not make it bigger than it is, keep it simple, but having gone through it and talking through it and just staying positive. I guess on the sideline, the best way I can explain it is I didn't ever feel when one side of the ball or the other was struggling, or couldn't finish a drive offensively, or had a letdown defensively, and you're frustrated because of an explosive run or something. I felt like it was all about the next play. I felt like it was all about, man, I want to get back on the football field, and I know we can do this, and I'm going to just keep locked in on my job. And then each side of the ball, trusting the other one, is going to just give it everything they have and leave it on the football field. And, walking out of there, I don't think we were going to have any regrets on anything, because they were going to leave it out there. And so that's all I can ask of them, is just to give 100% effort. And, when 99 out of 100 isn't good enough. It's got to be 100 out of 100, because that's something you can control. And so, we've been pointing those things out whenever we fall just a little bit short. It's not okay that you gave 100% on all these plays in practice, and this one play, woulda, coulda, shoulda, that's the one that's going to hurt you. It's the one that's going to kill you. So just proud of the way the guys have responded, and I think the game certainly showed that. It felt that on the sideline. We had less guys travel. We have less staff on the sideline. And so it was about those 74 players. It's about the coaching staff. And it was, these guys kind of adopted an us against the world mentality.
questions left. We'll go to Alex first, and we'll finish with Matt.
Speaking of responses, what did you see from Connor after that missed field goal, and how would you just sort of assess the special teams plays through 4 games?
Yeah, I think that kick in particular, I think we got to have better execution all the way from the snap to the hold to the kick. You know, all 3 of them could do a little bit better and cover for each other. It's, you know, the kicker obviously can recover and help make it better, and it wasn't that much error on the other guys to where he couldn't make up for it. But they all 3 with that execution, I think, can do a better job. He's been solid. I think again as a special teams whole. I think the real slip up was against Wisconsin with a couple things with the kickoff, and again, you know, we put ourselves in that spot to where we had to kick from our own 20 and cover a lot more space. I was really pleased with the way we controlled their return game with Branch being a threat, both in the punt return and the kickoff returns. You know, and so we had a squib opportunity. We pinned them deep at the end of the first half. Didn't let up in any way to give them any life there to feel like they could go down and even get 3 points on the board. Kicking off, you know, after we, you know, held them deep on the first one that they tried to return. Really, they just were all about, you know, taking the ball to 25, fair catching it. And so, you know, I think we're doing a solid job. There are so many young guys on our special teams units, and everyone, I'm not afraid to put it out there because I think they're executing at a high level. I mean, Latsier Brooks, you watch him run down there on kickoff. You know, you see him on offense, but you see him doing his things there. And Dijon Lee and all those guys, I mean, they're seeing their opportunities, you know, to go out there and play at a high level and put some good film on film out there for people to see.
Matt wanted to clarify one thing.
Yeah, on Jamarian, is there a chance he goes and tries to get a medical red shirt, or is he just completely done playing?
Yeah, we haven't gone on that road yet. Really haven't seen him in person, just communicating. I know he's back here around the facility here now, too, you know, here finally at the beginning of the week. So, but yeah, we haven't gone down that road yet, so don't have an answer for you there.
Thank you, Coach.
You bet. Thank you.